never know what tomorrow brings in this crazy life. Hey, this life, this life, this life.
Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Barba223 back with another video. Today we are going to be going over something that a few people have been asking me to do. It's going to be some tips and tricks to playing Magic DK and PvP, specifically solo PvP. This is a class I've been playing for years, and I want to go over what I do to play well, because there's a lot of things outside of sets that are important. Not just the gear you're wearing, but the way you play with the class. So I want to go over some of that. And before we get started, though, I want to let you guys know that it's really important that you subscribe to the channel if you watch the videos, because I've been having a lot more views than I do subscribers. So it would really help me out if you would sub when you watch. And also on top of that, if you'd like and comment too, that would also really help me out. So that would really get my channel out there and more exposure. So let's get right into it. Tip number one, we're going to call smart with fights. And what I mean by this is being smart with where you're fighting people. So Dragonite, especially Magic DK, doesn't have a lot of movement. We're slow and we don't have movement speed. Something you can do here is really important is kiting. And when we say kiting, we mean walking behind pillars, walls, different types of things that make the enemy not be able to see you. This is important because it creates line of sight, which is the best tanking thing in the game, a line of sight. And on top of that, when you're outnumbered, like me usually, you can create 1v1s when you're behind walls or pillars. You can make a 1v1 fight really quick behind a wall and then pop out and hit other people. So that's really important, being smart with fights. Another tip that I think is good with this is being able to realize that when you're outnumbered, you got to back up, right? You can't stay in all the time. You have to be smart with taking fights. You can burst, hide behind a wall, burst, hide behind a wall. So that's something to keep in mind. I would say now we're into tip number two. Another thing here is keeping the pressure up. So especially on a Magic DK, it's really important because when they're rewarded for playing offensive, right? So we have a lot of heals while playing offense. So we have, for example, Burning Embers. That's going to heal you by spamming it and using it. Another thing you can do is using talons to set up things. So what you say here is when you use Lava Whip, you use a talons, you get a proc off of Lava Whip when you use talons off of an immobilized enemy. You can proc it and get a crazy heal out of it while doing damage. So that's really important. And you can also do this with Fossilize, which is also very important, remembering that if you can stun someone, yes, it's going to help you do damage, but also it's going to help you heal yourself because you're going to proc your Lava Whip and give yourself time to use Burning Embers to heal yourself. So that's really important, is keeping the pressure up and keeping your dots up. So another thing that's really important in this case is also on top of that is using your Dragon Leap correctly. This is going to be tip number three, Dragon Leap usage. So you have two options when you use Dragon Leap, right? You can either use Dragon Leap in a way that it's a finisher. So in Magic classes, if you think pretty much everything, compared to stamina, we don't have a finisher, right? So like that's really important in terms of thinking about how we're going to be able to finish off enemies, especially in this meta where we're dealing with tankiness and proc sets and people that just don't die. Using your Dragon Leap offensively is something that a lot of people let slip under the rug. So let's say you have a guy high or low, you're beating on him, he's healing, you get him to about 30% health, and in this meta that could be 10k health. So if you Dragon Leap into them, you're going to drop them down, it'll stun them, and you're going to be able to whip them and hit them with a Fire Breath or whatever you want, and they're probably going to die. So being able to use Dragon Leap as a finisher is really important. This is something that most Dragonites don't know. And Staminas do a little bit more than Magic, I think, because Magic doesn't hit as hard, but it's really important, I think. It helps me finish off fights and win outnumbered fights a lot more than you think. So the other option when you're using Dragon Leap is using it defensively. So this is also really important. Knowing when to use Dragon Leap and when not to is probably the most important thing about the class. Defensively, you can use it as a reset. I call it a reset because when you're playing as Dragon Knight and you use any ultimate ability, you restore resources because of your Battle Roar or Eternal Mountain. I'm not sure what the exact passive is called, but you restore a good amount of resources, I think 4 or 5k from using Dragon Leap. So this can really turn a fight. You heal, you get magic, you get stamina back. You stun them, you use a Lava Whip into them, you're healed back to full that quick. So the defensive part of it is amazing, and it's so good for sustain because if you can some way find ultimate regeneration, you'll be able to spam your ultimate and essentially be able to have great sustain with this, and that's really good for defense, right? So it's going to really play a big role in surviving on DK. On top of it, Ferocious Leap as a magic DK is going to give you a crazy damage shield. So this is something that's really important here. You got to practice with being outnumbered and knowing when Dragon Leap can be used offensively to finish someone off or defensively to survive and push people off of you and create distance. Because we're not fast, so if you get the stun off with Ferocious Leap, you can run away and get around a corner. And referring back to tip number 1, use line of sight and walls and pillars and other things to get a 1v1. So Leap is really, really crucial to your build. It has to be used. It's so good and it's so important. So here we go, getting into the 4th tip, which I would call sustain. This is really important because DK is not amazing for sustain in terms of just the passives, what they do. Like other classes, like Necromancer gets a flat 200 something recovery from having their Spirit Guardian. Templar gets recovery from having their armor buff up, right? Magic Warden gets recovery just for having their Netch up, which is also a weapon damage buff, so that one's also incredible. There's a lot of other things that other classes get that you're not necessarily going to get on a Magic DK, so sustain's really important here. Something that's really good to do on DK is heavy attacking, right? So if you use a Molten Armaments, which is your damage skill, your spell buff still, spell damage buff, you can either have extra heavy attack damage, which is going to help doing damage while you're sustaining. That's really important. Or you can use Resto, or if you use heavy armor, you're going to be able to get really good resources back from your heavy attacks. So that's important. But on top of that is using sustain to not waste your heals, right? So when you use your heals, I'm talking specifically about coagulating blood. It's going to be a good burst heal, really expensive. So what you're going to want to do is wait till you're lower health to use that, right? So you're going to use Rapid Regen, Cauterize, Lava Whip, Burning Embers as your heals while you're above 50% health, let's say. But when you get under 50% health, you use Coagulating Blood, and it's going to burst you back up to full because it has 33% extra healing done for having lower health. So you're going to want to save that and use that in dire circumstances in your oh crap moments, right? And that's really important because it's such an expensive skill that you don't want to spam it when you're like high health, but when you're low health, it's going to heal you full. And that does help with your sustain an incredible amount, trust me. Being able to save your burst heal, that's an expensive skill for when you really need it, and you're going to have magic when you need it because you're using so good. You're doing such a good job of sustain with your other heals. And that's why I like to say DK is rewarded for being offensive, like I said earlier, because you're getting heals from things that aren't too expensive, and they're getting heals passively just from playing, right? So that's really important, is saving your coagulating blood until it's really needed. And I would say the 5th and final tip here is definitely the most important. It's going to be better than all the rest of the tips here I have, is practice, practice, practice. It's really that simple. ESO is a game of practice. I've been playing the game since launch, and I still haven't mastered everything. I get better still. And this is the most important thing you can do because, let's be honest, DK, especially Magic DK, is a really tough class to play. It doesn't have great movement, doesn't have amazing burst. It is tanky, but it doesn't have crazy movement. So you have to really practice and know what you can do and what you can't do. And this takes years, man. It does, trust me. I've been playing for years and still haven't mastered it. And it's the same thing with any class, right? I just really encourage you guys to stay on it and stay consistent with it. And if you follow my channel and stay with my videos and subscribe to me, I promise you I will give you more tips and tricks on how to play Magic DK. I will help you guys with builds and questions, anything. So just stay consistent, don't give up, and don't keep switching your build. Just keep playing with what you think works, And I'm telling you, you're gonna get better with time. I promise. Just keep doing it. That is the most important thing. So, um, that is all the tips and tricks that I have for now. These are just the really essential ones that I find that are really beginner and really important. There's obviously I can give you so much more, and if you want more, I can give you more. Trust me. So, like, comment, subscribe. This is the most important thing of the video is I want to get my channel out there. I want to give you guys some more content. I want to do more classes. I want to give some necromancer videos. I want to do a lot of stuff here with this, and I want to give it to you guys as much as I can. So, if you see this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. At the least, just subscribe, because I'm getting some viewers, and I know a low percentage of them are subscribers. So if you do see the video and you enjoy it, please sub. It's gonna help me so much. You have no idea. I really appreciate everybody checking in, seeing the videos. And another important thing is to check me out on Twitch at twitch.tv/barba223. The username is the same as my YouTube, so it'll be easy to find. And on top of that, I want you guys to just come in there and ask me anything, man. I'm always there to answer questions and help you guys out. And if you just want to see some good vibes and good gameplay, then I'm gonna be there too. But I do want to, give you guys as much info as I can, and I just want you to stay on it and keep working at it. Trust me, you're gonna get better. These tips will help you, and let me know in the comments if you try them out and it does help you. And if you want some gear suggestions, I will start making builds and posting them. No worry. So that's gonna be all that I have today. I want you to have a good one, guys, and hopefully you stay safe during these crazy times. And I would appreciate a subscribe. So I'll see you guys on the flip, bro. See ya.